What's going on, Giants fans? It's been a minute since I've made a video about the Giants. Honestly, it's just been really hard to care. All of the videos that I made from the previous season, all of my concerns from the previous season seem to have come to fruition. One of the things that I was really upset about was that we were going to be keeping this regime, keeping Joe Shane, keeping Brian Dable. And you guys know how I feel about Brian Dable. You can go watch my Brian Dable is a fraud video where I go over his entire tenure or his entire career, talked about his success in offenses, his success with quarterbacks, and the numbers don't add up. He's not a quarterback guru. He's not an offensive genius. He's a guy who rode off the coattails of Josh Allen, and he never deserved a head coaching position. And now the regime that is the epitome of obfuscating blame, starting with Wink Martindale, Mike Kafka, Daniel Jones, whoever you want to, whether it's Shane Bowen, blaming the defense for his own offense's ineptitude. Three, 0-3 to start the season, and Brian Dable and team have decided that they are going to be moving on from Russell Wilson, and Jaxson Dart is going to be starting for the New York Giants in Week 4 against the Harbaugh-led LA Chargers. There's not really a great place to start a rookie quarterback, especially with the schedule that we have. It's going to be tough sledding no matter where you start. And this wasn't the plan going into the year. The plan was to have Jaxson Dart sit for the majority of the year, probably the first 3 quarters of the year, and let him finish out the last little bit, depending on how the success was going with Russell Wilson. But this is a panic move, and this is a panicky regime. They, looking back at this last offseason where they wanted to go with Matt Stafford, that didn't work out. Then they wanted to go with, Aaron Rodgers, that didn't work out. Then they get Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. It's like they don't really have plan Bs, Cs, or Ds. They just kind of reach for things when their original plan doesn't work out, and then you're kind of just left with the bag. So let's talk about Jaxson Dart starting for the New York Giants this upcoming Sunday. And one thing I want to let Giants fans know, and I know we've been watching this team for a decade plus, and nothing has changed. Nothing about this team seems like it has changed, and we're always perennially bad. You know, this is our the third season where we're starting off 0-3 since 2020. So in the last 5 years, we've started off 0-3. Um, I think one thing that needs to change, there's not a lot in our control as fans. Like, we want John Mara to sell the team. We want him to get rid of, Brian Dable, Joe Shane, but that's not in our control. What is in our control is how we react to the players that are on the field. And I'm not saying we shouldn't boo anybody when it's deserved, but when you have someone like Jaxson Dart coming in as a rookie who's going to have to overcome the ineptitude of this offense, the ineptitude of the roster building that is fully responsible of Joe Shane, overcome the ineptitude of the offensive scheme, whether it be Mike Kafka, who's the play caller, or Brian Dable, who's the architect of the offense. He's going to have to overcome it. All these quarterbacks that we have haven't been able to overcome it. People want to say that Russell Wilson is washed, Russell Wilson is this, Russell Wilson is that. Well, I think Russell Wilson finally got a taste of what Daniel Jones was going through his 6 years here with the Giants. I think he was getting a look at the total incompetence and mismanagement of this roster, of this team, of the offensive line, of the offensive weapons, the special teams, our defense, our defensive line, linebackers, corners, um, just poor drafting, poor game planning, and Russell Wilson is going to get the blame for this, just like everybody else who is under the tutelage of Brian Dable is going to be blamed at some point. And Giants fans seem to believe the blame that's getting passed around, that the fingers being passed around in that regime. They look at who Brian Dable and Joe Shane point at, and they're like, oh yeah, no, that's the problem. But that's not the problem. Look at what look at what Saquon does in Philly. Look at what Indiana Jones is doing in with the Colts. Look at Xavier McKinney. Look at Leonard Williams. Look at really anybody who leaves the Giants ends up having success, and that's because there is a cancer in this organization, and us as fans should not contribute to that cancer. We should hold the people responsible. But for someone like Jaxson Dart, who's going to be starting this Sunday, he's not going to be perfect. He's going to be a rookie quarterback, like I said, trying to overcome the ineptitudes of the offense, who's going to be going up against a powerhouse defense, a powerhouse organization led by competent people. So it's not going to be perfect. And all these people that are just wanting to get their fix, wanting to watch something exciting, well, when things aren't going the way that we expect them to go, keep in mind Jaxson Dart isn't the issue, just like all the other players who have been here previously were not the issue. Um, I wish him nothing but I wish Jaxson Dart nothing but success. But the problem that I have, and this is something that I had the fourth, or you know the foresight of, was that you're gonna let a regime that's currently on a hot seat spend a first round pick capital on a quarterback, and now you're essentially doing you might be doing to Jaxson Dart what we did to Daniel Jones in 2019 when Pat Shermer was fired his first year. So you have the guys that drafted him, the people that want him. The best years that we've seen with Daniel Jones was his rookie year with the people that drafted him. And now, if Jaxson Dart isn't able to overcome those things, Brian Dable, Joe Shane are going to be fired, which regardless, they should be. I agree with that. But now you're going to have to find people who actually want to work with Jaxson Dart and not want to bring in their own quarterback. And then my fear is that we're going to bring people in. Our pool of candidates might be limited because John Mara might want to bring in somebody that is committed to Jaxson Dart, which I don't think you should. Whoever we bring in should be allowed to make that change if they want to. And we might end up seeing Jaxson Dart here leave or get traded away to a team and then have an incredible career, which is a shame. I mean, hopefully things turn around for this team, and I hope everybody who is involved currently, nothing but success. I just don't see it happening. I just see a lot of finger pointing coming from the people at the top, which is absolutely ridiculous. Um, Appreciate you guys checking out this video, just hearing what I have to say, and God bless you all, and go Giants. And for Jaxson Dart, give him hell, brother. Give him hell. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.